the grid shut down tonight, most people wouldn't last a week. This is not because they're weak, but because they're unprepared. In this video, I'm going to break down step by step exactly the things that I would do to make sure me and my family survives. First couple steps I would take is confirming that this is actually a country/nationwide blackout by talking to my neighbors. Luckily, I have a good community of close-knit neighbors that I can trust and rely on, and having a community around you and with your family and friends is very important. Secondly, I would meet up with my family and friends because we have a plan, which you should have as well, as where to meet. My house would be that spot for my family and friends, so we would all get together and be safe together. More together is the better. So then I would go about filling up all the sinks, the bathtubs, anything while the water is still running, to have extra water supply just in case that water is going out pretty soon as well. Secondly, I would charge up all devices, radios, power banks, anything needed, necessary, and while the power is still running, make sure that is good. And then lastly, I would also go and fill up all of our vehicles and all of our gas cans while the pumps are still running before potential pumps go out. Personally, I do not think bugging out is the best scenario, as you know your house, you know the layout, and all your supplies are here. Me and my family would be hunkering down in our house, so our main priority would be protecting our house from potential looters and potential riots. So we would be hardening up the windows, the doors, keeping a little bit of a wider perimeter of our property, and just being more aware and having social awareness. Then we would also take check of all of our supplies and see how long all the supplies that we have will last us between food and water. We currently have a good supply of food and water. The water would probably last us about 2 to 3 weeks, and the food will last us probably for 3 to 4 months. Hopefully, whatever scenario that we are talking about or that could potentially happen would only last for about a week or two, but you never know, and you want to be prepared for the worst. Then, if we did not have the correct amount of supplies for the people we needed in the potential time that this SHTF disaster would last for, you would want to venture out and get resources. In the first 0 to 12 to 24 hours, there would still be supplies in stores. You would have to worry about, obviously, looting then. If power is down, then card machines won't work. A lot of people don't pay with cash anymore, so a lot of people will resort to looting and potential violence. That is where it comes into having firearms and being prepared to defend yourself and your family. Obviously, you want to be prepared before this happens, so you don't have to put yourself and your family in harm's way going out to local food marts or even gas stations and getting into fights and violence with other people, because everyone is realizing how dire of a situation this is. Now, I don't think that would happen until about the 2 to 3 day mark, because 12 to 24 hours in, there's still gonna be a lot of uncertainty and people think everything will come back to normal. But if you don't have the correct amount of supplies, you definitely need to acquire them as soon as possible. Now, the reality of these scenarios is majority of people are not gonna be prepared, and that's gonna push people to depravity and violence. Talking about having a close-knit community with your neighbors, if your neighbors aren't prepared and they know you're super prepared, if times are hard, they're going to do bad things to keep their family alive and can potentially become a problem and a threat to you and your family. Same thing with other random people. If you let people know that you're prepared or have a bunch of weapons and have a nice house, you're going to become a target to potential looting, and that is where firearms and self-defense comes into play. Stuff as simple as a pistol with a flashlight to be able to positively ID any potential suspects. And a shotgun is great for home defense. This is a 12 gauge Beretta with a flashlight as well. Having a pistol and a shotgun is really all you need for home defense. Obviously, if you got a larger platform like an AK or a longer range bolt action, that is good. But a pistol and a shotgun should be able to help do whatever task is necessary to defend you and your home. Obviously, you do not want to have to harm anybody, but this is your family's life or someone that is trying to do harm to you. For the first 24 to 48 hours, hopefully you and your family are all hunkered down in your house, feeling safe, and have an adequate amount of supplies for the foreseeable future. Preferably, you obviously have this ready beforehand, but like I said, within the first 12 to 24 hours, if you have to, you need to go out and get the supplies. But remember to be safe and stay vigilant. Situational awareness is key in this scenario. Once you guys get all the supplies, you want to hunker down in your house and make it your fortified household. Nobody comes in, nobody can get in, and someone needs to always stay on watch, especially in a bad area. Now, if you live in a good area with a good neighborhood, like I said, a good community is key in this situation, but if you do not, then you need to be a lot more vigilant. Having a home generator is actually a very good option as well. Depending on what it's run on, you can run it on propane or you can run it on gas. Propane, in my opinion, is a lot easier stored, and it does not have a set shelf life such as gas and diesel does. So a propane, you can get a huge propane tank for your generator, and that will last a while, and that'll allow you to be able to continue refrigerating your food and all the food that you have not go bad, which is really essential. If you live somewhere very hot or you live somewhere very cold, it is also really nice to have heat and cool AC. So that is a added benefit. Having ways to create fire is another big thing, and having ways to, if you have to bug out, create shelter is essential. So you have obviously water storage, and then you're going to have the ability to purify and filter water. Having stuff such as a life straw or iodine tablets is essential in water purification and water filtration. And then having freeze-dried food, survival food like Mountain House food is also essential in a scenario like this. But as well as just canned food, canned beans, you can have bags of rice, you can put them in buckets, put some silica gels in there to eliminate all the moisture. Having stuff like that stored up and reserved is essential. Obviously, I don't want any of these scenarios to happen, and I don't think it is, but you can ask yourself, why do you have a savings account? More than likely, that is if something goes bad, or an emergency fund. If something happens that you don't want to happen, you got to take care of it. Same thing is with preparedness. It's an insurance plan for if things go south, you and your family will be prepared. A lot of the stuff that you can get does not cost a lot of money. If you check out my Prepared Civilian ebook, it actually has a full guide of what you can get and what you need to get in this type of scenario. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's just not something that people think about because of the luxuries of everyday life in a first world country. Power, water, electricity, AC, cool, heat, whatever you need, you have it every single day. Gas pumps are always working. But in a scenario like this, which we have seen very few of these, but there's a couple examples of shortages throughout history and the panic buying that ensues from that. Obviously, I don't want to promote panic buying, but in a scenario where something bad is happening, potential wars or a global blackout, you and your family need to be prepared. But if you're not prepared, you have to go get items, and going to grocery stores and getting all you can is what is necessary. One last key point I'd like to end on is if you are prepared or consider yourself a prepared civilian, do not go around telling people how prepared you are. Do not go around telling people how many guns you have, how much ammo you have, because this makes you a target. You may think that these people are your friends, even your family, but in a dire situation where it's your family or theirs, they will go to extreme measures to make sure their family is safe. So be careful who you tell, and be careful who knows of your supplies. They need to be a secret, preferably. And let me know if you guys think I missed anything. Obviously, this is an extreme scenario, and no one would wish this upon the world or our country, but bad things happen, and it is our job as prepared civilians to be ready for any potential thing. Like I said, if I missed anything, let me know in the comments down below. Appreciate you guys for watching the video. Check out my Prepared Civilian ebook. It is in my bio. Thank you guys. Please leave a like and subscribe.